Hey guys, I know that you're here for the podcast episode. Thank you so much for your support. Real quick, I wanted to tell you about my business. That's Stsg Marketing. When it comes to social media, it's a must for your business. If you're not doing it, you're missing out on tons of new clients and a way to engage with your old ones. So it's just super important. That's what I do. I can create content for you. I can manage your social media for you. I can coach you on how to grow your business through social media organically. If that's something you want a hand with, I would love to help you. Cruise over to my website. That's stsgmarketing.com. I would love to help you. Now let's get into the episode. Hey guys, Skyler Rader here, Sky the Service Guy. Thank you again for allowing me to be a part of your day. I talk sales, service, marketing, business, and everything in between. Today is more of an in-between episode, but it's going to tie in a lot with what we've been talking about this season. I'm going to be joined by Eric Mello. He is the host of the Contagion Effect. And don't worry, it is contagious, but in a good way.
Sky, the service guy, staying up late at night, doing podcasts all the time, talking about service, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we got the sales, do we got the knowledge to make a bill? We just paying bills, all we know is time will tell. Sky, the service guy.
Today we're joined by
intro ever.
Thank you. Shout out to Chris Jordan. Chris Jordan is somebody I work with. Hopefully he's going to be on the podcast soon. He made that for me free of charge, just a friend supporting another friend's business, and it just doesn't get any better than that.
Dude, I was getting into it, man. I was like, yeah, I like it.
You can find his real music on Spotify, SoundCloud, everywhere else too. So
man, I'm gonna have to check it out.
But today we're here to talk about Eric Mello. Eric runs a podcast himself called The Contagion Effect. His mission is to give back to our community and the great nation we were born in. He uses his platform to give veterans an opportunity to share their stories of trials, triumphs, and tribulations. Eric, thank you so much for making time for me and doing this with me. It means a lot.
Yeah, Skyler, thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's one of those mission statements of, like you kind of said before. Sorry, I'm already stuttering and stuff. You're excited. Contagion Effect was something that came about between me and my buddy Mike. He has since moved on, and it's me. So I always say we and us and they and them and all that stuff, because we are who we are from the beginning. So what I mean by that is Mike's dad was a Marine veteran. He passed away from cancer. He was in Vietnam for 2 tours. And I'm a truck driver by trade. And so I can talk and I always have like 2 or 3 different people on, on the phone, and we're chit chatting. And my dad was in the Navy. Unfortunately, he committed suicide about 5 years ago. And so what we've done is we've kind of taken those 2 bookends of our fathers and said, hey, listen, like we need to do something. We say from the very beginning, we're not veterans. Our dads were. They raised us to give back to our community. So this is our give back. And so the Contagion Effect started really because we needed to keep the stories alive.
Right.
We've met some great veterans that have allowed us to use some of their music and some of the wordage in our show, and it's been awesome. We've gotten to talk to our local sheriff. We've talked to a 2-star general who we'll talk about it later, but an unbelievable story. But we've talked to petty officers. We've talked to A1Cs. We've talked to anybody and everyone. It's been awesome. So the Contagion Effect basically is that, it's whatever it needs to be at the moment. And sorry about that.
You're fine. Over here. Well, and today I really want to focus on 3 main points. We usually try to, and then obviously anything we talk about in between organically is totally fine too, Eric. Yeah. But I want to hear, sorry for your dad, by the way. I'm sorry for your loss. I want to hear though, how we go from truck driver to podcaster. It's one thing to have the idea with a friend. It's another thing to execute the idea. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So when this started, I told my buddy Mike, I said, hey, listen, I am the truck driver I'll find us guests, and I will find us people to come on that I want to talk to and talk about. And you need to do the rest. So you need to do the computer. You need to learn how to do StreamYard. You need to learn how to do Canva and get our name all over the place. And you do that because he's the computer geek, right? And he goes, I got it. He does it. Mellow Consulting. It's along the same avenue of what you have going on. And it's one of those things where it was easy at first. It really was easy. They get a guest like, hey, did you want to come on a podcast? Oh yeah. What's it about? Whatever you want it to be. Like, what do you need to be? What do you want to talk about? And at the very beginning, it was, again, people that we thought were interesting, people that I wanted to talk about. We've talked to our wrestling, my wrestling coach back in 1993 when I graduated. He was one of the role models for me and a lot of kids. And that one episode was almost like a reunion, like a wrestling reunion, because it brought out all the buddies and they're like, oh my gosh, Coach Ablito. And, and it was awesome because we got to see him as just another guy. It wasn't like Coach Ablito, right?
Right.
But the messages that went through were, thank you. Like, thank you for letting us live and grow through what you believed in. And he wasn't always nice and he wasn't always easy, and it was tough and it was hard. And it was one of those things where the message was bigger than what we were going through.
Right.
Now that I'm 49 years old, that 16, 17-year-old kid, I'd like to go kick his tail because not knowing what the message was, and it's taking this long to get to it. It's like, oh, it's like, oh, that's what it was. And it was just awesome, And so our podcast was basically like that, Who do you want to have on? Who do you want to talk to? Let's go get them. I mean, we've had the veteran, the dad bod veteran who has over 1 million subscribers on TikTok. I'm gonna send him an email and see what happens. Boom, like less than 10 minutes. Hey man, I'd love to be on. I'm a veteran. Boom. So we just decided to kind of StreamYard it from We just kind of streamlined from buddies and truck drivers to like veterans. So the niche was, hey, like we're gonna focus on veterans. And one of the most powerful episodes was Uncle Lee, which was actually Mike's uncle, Vietnam veteran in the Army, and he's sick, and Mike's like, hey man, like, we're going to have my uncle on. He's coughing like every other word's like a cough. And it's like, hey, he's like, we got to do it. Less than 3 weeks later, he passes away.
Wow.
But to have that there forever on YouTube, right?
Right.
Is awesome because his family didn't even know he was on it.
Right.
At the funeral, Mike's like, hey, dude, like, check this out. Like, here's Uncle Lee. Like, you want to watch it? And it was that connection, right? So it's always going to be there. It's always going to be that spot in the interweb of, hey, man, we can go back and check it out. We're, we have our 96th episode tomorrow night. We go live at 6:00. I know we're getting there. We're like so close. Which is kind of funny because I had to go live on like Thanksgiving to keep the number right. And my wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, just give me 20 minutes. Like, just give me 20 minutes. Like, I got it. Like, I got to keep the numbers. Everyone's like, I got to keep the numbers. So it's one of those things where, the contagion effect is whatever it needs to be at whatever time. We've sat and we've had whiskey. We've talked to veterans that were on the verge of like, just, I'm done. Literally had guys like, I'm done. Like, I just hurt all the time. I can't sleep at night. I can't turn it off. There's no button to turn it off. So it's like, what like we say in our statement, the unity in community. I know I'm jumping forward. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
Again, that community is what it needs to be. It can be, it can be Kendra and Brian Ward in Illinois, whose son committed suicide coming out of as an Army National Guard. He goes and he serves and comes back and commits suicide because he can't handle what he saw. He can't handle what he went through. And they have a website. It's the 4 Ward Project, and they have reached out across the entire nation and the world and spread rocks. And they have different things that they do, and it's just getting that awareness because no parent should have to bury their child.
I agree.
And it's one of those things where for us, it's getting that message out there. And I chased them for like a year and a half before I got them on.
Sure.
And again, I sent out an email 2 hours ago, and the guy's going to come on in February. So it's again, I'm looking for people that I want to talk to that I think are cool. And the message is strong in the Marine, in the military community. They just want, they have that mission to serve.
Right.
And so that's what they do. They sign that dotted line and they go and they serve. It doesn't matter if you were the Army National Guard, if you're in the National Guard or in the military, as some people say it. Bullets don't know who is a National Guardsman and who's an enlisted soldier.
Right.
Like, it's going to take care of whatever it's got to take care of. And I've had people on the show and they say the same thing. Doesn't segregate. So in a roundabout way, I'm sure. I hope I answered your question, but you did,
Eric. You're doing great, man. I don't know if you know this. Where I live in Dayton, Ohio, we live right next to an Air Force base.
Yeah.
So we have a huge population of military here, and I'm not military, but I've got friends that are, and it's one of those things where, obviously on my podcast, it's more business oriented, but these people are a part of the community, and I want to be a part of their community, and I want to be able to help somebody or in a position to at least have awareness about it. Can you share a little bit more of like the mission now with your podcast? I know you're giving this platform to share, but is it also a platform to heal?
Oh, 100%. So when I have a guest on, there's a few things that I always bring up. I always bring up what we have here out in California. Yeah, I'm from California. I'm in the middle of California where all the if you guys like almonds, like 98% of America's almonds come from where I am. So I'm a worker. I'm an hour and a half from SAC in San Francisco and Yosemite.
So not only are you nuts, you're surrounded by them.
Yeah, and that's our baseball team, the Modesto Nuts, which actually I think they took like second in the nickname minor league baseball, little playoff that they have. So that's cool. They're the affiliate of the Seattle Mariners right now. But anyways, it's a weird thing. But I always bring up CalVet. CalVet is a veteran resource book, and it's funny. That's one word that I've learned whenever you are doing veteran shows. The word funny. The word funny. Oh, hey, that sounds fun. Ironic.
It's a coincidence.
Yeah, coincidence. Yeah. I like ironic. The irony of it is you can flip through any page here and there's something that would apply to a vet. I mean, the different things like tinnitus. What's tinnitus? How is hearing loss affected? Other programs, troops to teachers program. I mean, dude, a troop to teacher? Like, wait a minute. Don't you have to be like some 20-year-old kid going through college and all that stuff? Dude, it's going to set you up. It's going to help you. So I always make sure that there's a program or something that we put out there, right? So that's we always try to help them. And again, American Veterans First is the organization here close to where we live. And they take food that's left over from different grocery stores and stuff like that. That's still reusable. And they give out food, and they are one of the big resources that I use because really that's where I got to meet Alan Taylor, World War II veteran. And the story that he's telling me of, he's a gunner, and I'm blanking on the warship but he's a gunner, and he's just watching these planes, and he's like, yeah, I'm not going to cuss, but, and he's going to town, and he's like 98 years old, and it's just like he's reliving it, It was so spiritual for me to listen to him.
Sure.
And again, it's one of those things where that's a healing thing for him to be able to talk about it. So normally when I do have a guest on, they're either in the process of, or they're preparing to write a book. I've been fortunate enough to have, 7 or 8 different authors on that and they're all military.
Wow.
One specific one that I kind of lean on, her name's Jenna Carlton. And this resource book right here, it's called the Veteran Workbook.
Okay.
She does Instagram lives. We've tried to get her on StreamYard. We're like, hey, we'll even give you a free code to download and do all that. And she's like, I love Instagram. She's like, just leave me on Instagram. I'm like, no, you have a great thing. The Millennial Veteran is what her handle is.
Okay, well, that makes sense. If she's going to be on Instagram, then
I mean, and it's young lady. We've had probably out of 96 episodes or 95 episodes, we've probably had around 20 to 22 women in the military on the show. That's a whole different chapter that needs to be brought up too, because it's
when we think about our military, sometimes we don't think about our female.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. And I've had more than on one occasion, they're fighting for that ID. Like they're fighting for the identification of, I'm the vet, I'm the veteran. Yeah. There's in another group that I have, again, the Contagion Effect is just a small blip on the big picture. We'll go into some of the other, groups that we're associated with, but there's literally these ladies that are like, hey, like I have to show my ID because they don't think I'm in the military, and they get irritated with that. And I tell them, listen, man,
they deserve their respect
fight,
too.
100%. It's just another fight that they're battling,
Yeah.
What I was going to say was, we think of, when we say sexual assault and stuff, we're like, oh, the women that, no. It's not just the women that have the sexual assault. It's just the men just as much.
Right.
Again, I don't get into politics too much on our show.
Yeah. Well, I usually don't either. And when it comes to political stuff, like I don't know how to say this correctly. Maybe I'm anti-war, but I'm pro-warrior.
Yeah.
Like anybody who's willing to sign up and fight for what they believe in, I'm willing to stick my chest out and be proud of you and thank you and do anything I can. But sometimes I don't agree with our government and politics. It's too divisive and too much separation.
Yeah. And again, it's a whole, I respect what the presidency is. And then, I'm not going to get into it, but you respect the presidency as that title, right?
Yeah. The idea,
it is what it is. We have to fight through with what we're doing. But anyways, real quick on Jenna, the thing about this book is I've sent like 7 copies out to different guests that I have on when we talk about it, which one's going to be coming your way too. I just need to get your address, and I'm going to send you a copy.
I would love one
of this free of charge from the Contagion Effect to you. It is a workbook, and it is amazing. Just like the Calvet book, it's all chaptered out, but it literally is a workbook.
So it's action oriented.
Yeah. So there's like 30 something chapters. I want to say there's 42, but whatever. We're not counting. There's 42. So I'll tell whoever our guest is, I go, just tell me when to say stop, right? And then stop. So I'll be like, theme 15, mindfulness. And we'll talk about that. And we'll just talk about that. And we'll go through a different couple, little works. And it's the best. It's an icebreaker on top of a interview enhancer.
Yeah, I agree.
And I told Jen, I go, as long as the Contagion Effect is going, like you're going to have at least one supporter. Like I will buy your book and send it out, because that's how much I believe in that. And it's just awesome. It's crazy awesome.
How did you settle on the name Contagion Effect?
I didn't. I hated it. Mike did. Mike, my buddy, our partner, he decided what it was, and I was just the yes man because I didn't want to do no work at the beginning. I mean, our colors were green and yellow with some tinge, and I'm like, what was that? Like, it's horrible. It's gross. But I'm like, hey, I didn't have to do no work, so yeah, we'll go with it.
Right.
I couldn't spell Contagion Effect. I had to break up contagion into 3 words, which is ion. And that's literally how I learned how to spell it, because you always want to say contagious. But no, that's literally what it is. No, obviously, I joke a bit because it's healthy for us. And when Mike came up with Contagion Effect, I'm like, dude, like the effect of having something contagious is, everybody thinks negativity because it's contagious. It's horrible. It's bad. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to convince people. Listen, man, like talking about suicide is horrible. It sucks. It should never happen, but it does. Right. It does. And people will argue the number with me, 22 a day. I think it's more, but it is what it is. That's the number that we've kind of hung our hat on.
Yeah, the number. I mean, even if it was one, that's one too many.
100%, 100%. Real quick, my mom gifted me this. This was my dad's USS Cleveland. He was on the he was on the Cleveland, and so when he went to Vietnam, and we never talked about things, so I don't have those stories, right?
Right.
Real quick, when I say dad, he's my stepdad, but we don't say step in our family.
That's okay.
I've known him since I was 13 years old, so I got to say that because I don't want to irritate anybody.
No, I'm in the same boat. I had a man step into my life that's my father.
Yeah, it's my dad. Yeah.
So
it's it's one of those things where I am as transparent as it comes, because you can't be fake in the military world, because there's so many people that are like, I got nothing to do, I'm gonna vet this guy. Right. And we had an episode where the guy's like, yeah, so I see that you guys had a bunch of truck drivers on, and then you guys just kind of went like random, and I'm like, yeah, this is what we know, we're going to start doing this. And he's like, well, what do you want to do in the military? He's like, what's your story? What do you want to do it for? I'm like, well, because we want to give you guys a platform to keep your stories alive. Well, what do you guys get out of it? I'm like, literally just to listen to you talk, dude. Like literally just, And so he's like, well, I'll think about it. And it was one of the best episodes ever. It was awesome. Brian Roof with Every Day is a Saturday podcast. Great. He's become a brother, and because at the beginning of our show, we tell people, hey, we're not veterans, but ... Right. They've literally told us to stop saying it. They're like, listen, we've accepted you. Like, you are our brother. Like, you are our brother. Like, embrace it. I go, that's awesome. I appreciate that. I'll never take a discount. I'll never wear a patch. I'll never say that, get the hat that says I'm a veteran or anything like that. It's just who I am and what I am. Someone wants to send me something, which, by the way, I did. I got my first, hey, check this out. And it's not even in here. Isn't that great?
That's okay.
I lied. I'm sorry. I did lie. Kim Gwinner, she's going to be on our show. She's a veteran, Vietnam veteran. He actually sent two of them. It's a healing workbook, Healing Like a Warrior and My Healing Avenue. Free of charge. She just sent them to me. I'm like, that's awesome. It's great. I mean, just this is what makes me happy, man. I got a collection of books, which Terry Triumph and Chris Whittemore, amazing. I have it on audio, and I listened to it 4 times in 1 week because you just feel like you're there, right? And it's just one of those things where, like, you just feel the emotion. You feel that when they're going out at night and they've got all their gear on, and they don't see nothing but the whites and the outlines, and then it just goes off and they're ambushed. And oh man, it gives you. I can't imagine, because I didn't go through it. I can't imagine the PTSD that they have.
Right.
I leave the D off because it's not a disease. PTSD is not a disease.
That's right.
It's what they've done to the veterans. It's what they've reprogrammed soldiers to do, and then they want to bring them back and ask them what's wrong with them and how come you just can't get over it. Why can't you get over it? Well, I mean, yeah, you see what these people go through. You see what these veterans and warriors go through, and it's amazing. Just
I'm convinced. I think the only way for them to they're not. I don't think there's any getting over it, but I think the way they make peace with it is through shows like yours and events like Hero Stock with Jason Steiner. I just got done interviewing him not too long ago, and I don't know what the solution is, but I know part of the solution is creating an environment that's not people just sitting around in group therapy staring at each other. I know that. It's having more of a creative conversation like you're having in an event like Jason's having. What do you think is the right way for someone to work through any kind of PTS?
There's no right way, because your drama and your situation is going to be different than mine or anybody else's, right?
Right.
We both had men step into our lives for whatever reason and become those father figures for us, right? Mm-hmm. Now, we went to baseball games, and my dad calls me bitch. What's up, bitch? Hey, bitch. Like, that was our love tale, right? I apologize, but that was like our love language, right?
Right.
Now, some people are like, oh, it's what it is. Might not be right for you guys, might not be right for others, but there's no right or wrong. What I have found out, and through Hero Stock, Jason Steiner is an absolutely beautiful human. Jesse Cunningham with Wills. Shout out Wills for Warriors out of Omaha, Lincoln, Nebraska area.
Go ahead and tell everyone what Wheels for Warriors does.
So Wheels for Warriors is an organization that teams up with Hero Stock. They've actually merged this year, or this coming year. They're going to merge as one company. Wheels for Warriors actually presents a veteran with a brand new refurbished bike that has been loved on and has been taken to the bare bones, built back up, and free of charge given to a veteran.
Yeah, it's pretty much a brand new bike. Thank you for your service.
Amazing.
Yes. Really, really cool organization.
Yeah. So they're supposed to be teaming up with a Harley Davidson dealer, and they're going to start doing some more. And I believe they're up to around 44, 43. But they're going to be giving out like 4 bikes this next year. There's going to be 4 different Hero Stock locations. Rolla, Missouri, which we have some buddies down in Missouri. Shout out to Missouri, I think.
Now you went to the last one, right?
Yeah, I went. We didn't. So going back 2 years, whenever we heard about Vet Stock, is what Hero Stock was before. So Vet Stock happened, and I'm looking at these pictures and stuff on Facebook. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, let me give it a shot. Let me give the guy an email, see what's up. Literally one of those right now instant message. Hey, dude, what's up? Yeah, we want to come on. So 11 months in the making, we are reaching out to SitRep 22 podcast. Shout out to Tom Ettinger. WP3, the People's Patriot Project out of Minnesota. The Bourbon Battle Buddies out of Louisiana. Unzipped Minds out of Oregon. We're talking across the nation. Gunroom Radio out of Rolla, Missouri, and just we're like, hey, we're going to this thing. We're in California, right? I'm driving out there. It's like 1,800 miles. I'm like, yeah, no, man, I'm flying. So we go out to Hero Stock, and the thing is it's free. It's a free day to go hang out and listen to veterans. You asked the question earlier. What's the right thing to do? The right thing to do is support veterans and support what they're doing and what they need, right? So what they need is they need the camaraderie, because when they come out of the military, their service is done, but they're not done serving, right? So that's where a lot of the podcasts come from, and what they need is that next level of energetic emotion. And what I have found is music. Guitars for Vets out of Omaha, Nebraska. And I'm totally blanking on her name right now. I'm sorry. And she's going to kick my butt. But
it's okay. Well, anything like that, we can include in the link in the description below.
Taylor Olam. Folks. Thank you. Taylor Olam.
There we go.
I'm not that old yet. Taylor Olam with Guitars for Vets. Guitars for Vets is a nationwide campaign, and they've got places all over. But we got to reach out and we got to talk to Taylor, and she's like, yeah, we give lessons to vets for free, like for 8 weeks. We're going to have that person being able to strum a guitar just as good as Garth Brooks, but the singing part's going to be on them. Right. And there's I'm kind of holding the nugget, because there's a lot of veterans that are hella good at singing. Right. We have Scotty Hastings, no S, Scotty Hastings Music. He's part of our intro. He just got signed by Black River label. I think I messed that up. Black Water or Black River label. He's got a YouTube. It's not a YouTube. It's on YouTube. But he's got a video out right now, and it's amazing. Just amazing. It's got like 100,000 views and stuff. And he's a veteran. He got shot 10 times.
Holy smokes.
By one person. And has all of his limbs, and has a little neurological discrepancy in his shoulder, a little bit of his thigh and stuff.
I wonder how the guy that was pulling the trigger feels.
You want the story?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're going out on patrol, and they see some brush, they see some movement, and Scotty kind of comes around the corner, and the guy is no more than 20 yards. So, you know what, 20 yards, about 30, 40 feet from the guy. And the thing that saved Scotty was he kept hitting his gun. His gun was up on his chest.
Oh, wow.
So the guy runs up and he can't return fire. And he said, if I would have pulled my gun away from me, because the guy would have came over and you know, taken whatever he needed to do, he would have done. But knowing that his gun was jammed, he just kind of kept it right there. He was taken care of swiftly by the backup. So he's the trigger man was dealt with swiftly and effectively. But Scotty had a bad day. Literally what he tells us. He had a bad day. And it's just amazing that he's here, and he is a hell of a
have that kind of outlook too on life,
dude.
I mean,
and that's what a lot of them, man. There's
people are built different.
Listen, I don't know if sorry, but I don't know if I have the cojones to do it. I really don't.
Right.
You know, my dad wanted me to go play football and wrestle and go to college, and I kind of thanked them because I think I'm kind of a puss about it. Like, I don't know if I would have made it. No, I'm being serious. I mean, I don't know if I would have made it through. But true American heroes, these guys are just crazy. These guys and gals that do it. It's utterly amazing, the stories that they have. And again, you know, Scotty's graciously given us a copy of his song. And so that's part of our intro, the stories that they tell. And that's, as soon as we heard it, we both looked at Mike and we're like, I don't care what it costs. Like, we need the song. So Scotty he released it to us. We finally stopped getting a copyright infringement after the 87th episode. We had, you know, there's a little bit of paperwork to do there, but there's everybody will support veterans, right? Everyone supports veterans. We love our veterans. We love our veterans. But to be honest, the thing that I find out that it kind of ends at that statement. A lot of lip service is what we call it. There's a lot of lip
talk
service.
is cheap.
Yeah. And so Tom Ettinger, he has a podcast, every second counts podcast, and Sit Rep 22. He took that into action. He's like, dude, action speaks louder than words. Everyone knows that. We've always heard that, right? And he goes, it's time to shut up and start doing. It's time to stop talking about it and just get it done. And when he came out, we had a great time. We sat around at Hero Stock. I mean, there was oh man, I know Jason already gave you all the numbers, but I want to say it was around 30, 35 vendors out there. There was Dylan Bloom. There was Taylor Olam and her daughter, Scotty Hastings. Shannon Book is coming out this year. Barbara Sims. Barbara Sims is a phenomenal veteran who drives around in the nation in a van, literally down by the river. Like I know it's a joke, but she literally travels in a van. And she's got a great story. You know, it's one of the things where we know what we need to do. You know, we talk about it at the People Patriot Project. We talk with them quite often. And they support the hell out of us, and they're good people. And they say, man, it's like, we know what we need. We know what we get to do because of those that have went before us.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You know, my show is mostly about business and sales and marketing and entrepreneurship, but none of that's possible without what these folks do. Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't exist.
Yeah. But what you do is great too, because there's going to be a veteran that's like, hey man, I got this idea. Okay. What is it? Okay. Let's do something. And that's what's cool about it, because I can't do this, man. I know my SEO is crap, but I also know that there's probably somebody out there in Bangladesh. I keep getting messages from them being like, hey, you want more view on, I mean, I would love more views on my show, but it is what it is. It's all organic. We have 438 YouTube subscribers. Not that I know personally, that I checked on it. There's 438 subscribers on YouTube. There's, we have under 400 people on Instagram, but we don't even really do anything on Instagram.
Well, going back to like our final point, when we talk about community, it's one thing to have a following.
Yeah.
Right. A quote unquote following. Oh, this person has 1 million subscribers.
Yeah.
How many of them are you actually interacting with?
Yeah.
You know, how many of them is an actual connection being made? And if you're at a number like 432 or whatever it is, and you've done it organically,
yeah,
that's probably 432 souls you've touched.
Yeah.
And some of those accounts could be more than one person.
Yeah.
You know, me and my wife, we share our account on things. So I'm subscribed to things that I don't even watch.
Coco Melon, or what's that? Bluey? Is Bluey pop up on that?
Oh man, we watch some Bluey. We watch some Bluey. My son is 7 and my daughter's 4, and it's
that's a great age, man.
Yeah, that's kind of our go-to.
Yeah.
But
it's funny.
But yeah, man, just it is what it is. You know,
yeah,
like you said, community.
I can go down my list and I can probably name almost all of the 438 that's on there, right?
Right.
And again, you know, I think what you do is great. I appreciate you having me on and being able to talk about the veteran community. You know, I'm just
it's important.
Hog in the wheel. Yeah. It's hella important. I mean, look at that California guy saying hella, but it's hella important. I do want to. I have 2 things that I want to get out real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Even though, I mean, hey, that's bad. Let me see. Okay, right there. So this was from the WP3 project, the People's Patriot project. Again, huge supporters. Mark Peterson, Andrea Eichmann, and John down in Louisiana. Everything this is a $20 ornament, and everything they do goes back to Reese Across America. We at the Contagion Effect are proud sponsors of the Reese Across America radio station, where you can listen to us live on Trucking Tuesday, 11 o'clock Eastern, because they don't know how much we cuss or how long our show is. So they put us at 8 o'clock at night so they can run some stuff behind us and make us not as horrible. But Reese Across America is one of those organizations that's just supported us, and it's amazing to have different guests on from there. You know, it's fun. And again, you know, we talk about the organic, or we say organic, you know, and it is truly from the ground up. And could I go pay for all this and that? Yeah. But it doesn't mean as much. You know, it doesn't mean as much. Yeah. So that's, you know, that's basically us in a nutshell, man. We're crazy. We're fun. You know, we get to do things like this. And I love this. I love coming on different podcasts. And I mean, it's just fun to get the other side, right? Because I'm over here trying to put on this. Oh, hey, man, we got this banner here. And, you know, I'm like, no, but hey, you know, Skyler, I appreciate you having me on, man. I really do.
Well, and I'm so thrilled to have you. Anybody who wants to, not anyone, everyone should go listen to the Contagion Effect, especially if you're a veteran or you know someone who's a veteran. This is a great way to support them. And, you know, aside from lip service, sounds like there's a ton of opportunities with Eric to actually get involved. So definitely look for those opportunities. That way you can actually give back. Eric, thank you again for being on here. I would love to catch up with you from time to time and hear about the other organizations you're working with.
You set it up and send me a link, man. We'll have like a Skyler and Eric on the 30 or something like that.
Oh man, I'm down. Well, here, hang out for 1 second. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. Okay.
All right.
Well, there you guys have it. Another awesome episode. Eric was such a good guest. All his links are going to be in the description below. The Contagion Effect. Definitely go watch him on YouTube. Subscribe. It sounds like he's got a plethora of amazing guests, and I'm pretty sold as well. So I'm going to be a part of that. If you like a show like mine, please like it, subscribe, share it. Especially this one about our veterans. You know, we want to raise awareness because, like we said in the episode, none of this is possible without brave American men and women and their families. So thank you all for your service. And I just really appreciate the opportunity to even have an opportunity to speak on it. So I'll check in with you guys next week for another episode of Sky the Service Guy.
Sky, the service guy, staying up late at night, doing podcasts all the time, talking about service, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we got the sales, we got the knowledge to make a meal, we just paying bills, all we know